Have you ever paused before stepping off a curb, just for a split second, as if your body is reminding you to be careful? It's one of those little moments we rarely talk about, but for so many of us, it becomes more common with each passing year. I'll be honest, I've had that same hesitation. I remember rolling my eyes the first time I caught myself reaching out for a wall or glancing down at my own feet like they were strangers. It's such a quiet change, but it has a way of creeping in and making itself at home, doesn't it? If this sounds at all familiar, please know you're not alone. I've heard the same stories from friends, neighbors, and even at family gatherings, usually told with a mix of frustration and a little self-deprecating laughter. Maybe you've even joked about it yourself. The mysterious force that seems to pull you just a little closer to the ground with every year that goes by. It's humbling, isn't it? And sometimes a bit embarrassing. But here's the truth. There's nothing weak or shameful about these moments. There's a surprisingly simple way to turn things around. A gentle shift you can make today that doesn't require special equipment or painful routines. There's a trick, tested by science and practiced by thousands, that can give you back that confident step you used to take for granted. Would you like to know what it is? Because you deserve to feel secure, steady, and free to enjoy every step you take. And if you've ever wondered if there's something small you could do that might make a big difference, you're in the right place. Tell me, have you ever noticed yourself hesitating or reaching for support? I'd love to hear your story because you truly deserve to live with confidence and peace of mind. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. Now, let's begin. 1. The most common mistake that makes seniors trip. If you spend any time with folks our age, whether at the park, the local grocery store, or just waiting in line for morning coffee, you'll notice something that hardly anyone talks about out loud. It isn't the silver hair, the charming laugh lines, or even the prescription reading glasses perched on every other nose. No, it's something more subtle. It's the way so many of us walk now, a little more cautious than before, sometimes shuffling our feet rather than picking them up like we used to. It's so easy to ignore until one day it isn't. Maybe you're just moving from the living room to the kitchen, thinking about what to make for lunch, when suddenly your toe catches on a rug or the edge of a tile, and before you even realize what's happened, you're on the floor, bewildered, sore, and, above all, shaken. That's the moment it hits you. This isn't just clumsiness. There's a pattern here, a quiet, creeping habit that sneaks in with the years. The most common mistake that makes so many seniors trip and fall isn't bad luck, and it isn't weak bones. It's simply the act of dragging our feet. If you're honest, maybe you've noticed yourself doing it, too. You tell yourself you're just tired, or that the floor is unusually slippery today. Maybe you blame those socks you keep meaning to throw away, the ones with the thinning soles, or you grumble about the house needing better lighting. But the truth is, dragging your feet when you walk is a small change that can have big consequences, and almost nobody warns you about it until it's already become a habit. The reason it's so dangerous is because it happens so gradually. When we're young, walking is practically automatic. We barely think about it at all. But over time, as our joints stiffen and our muscles lose a bit of strength, we start taking shorter steps. We lift our feet less. It feels easier and, ironically, safer. After all, isn't it more secure to keep your feet close to the ground? Unfortunately, that instinct is exactly what sets us up for trouble. Let me tell you about a friend of mine, Margaret. She's 78, sharp as a tack, always full of stories about her grandkids and her days working at the old post office. One autumn morning, she was carrying a mug of coffee from the kitchen to her favorite chair. She'd walked that hallway 1,000 times, but this time, her slipper caught on a patch where the carpet met the hardwood. Down she went, the mug shattering, hot coffee everywhere. She didn't break anything, thank goodness, but the bruise on her hip and the fright in her eyes stayed with her for weeks. It wasn't a big step, she told me later, more embarrassed than anything. I just didn't pick up my foot. That's all it took. Margaret's story isn't rare. Studies from top universities show that dragging your feet, or what the experts call a shortened gait, increases the risk of falling by up to 40% in people over 65. That's not a small number. It means nearly half of the falls that land seniors in the hospital or leave them struggling to get around could have been avoided if we'd just been more mindful of this one little habit. But why do we start dragging our feet in the first place? Part of it, as I mentioned, is physical. As we age, our muscles, especially in our legs and feet, naturally lose some of their strength and flexibility. Our joints, especially the hips, knees, and ankles, can feel stiff or achy, making us less likely to take those big, easy steps we used to. Sometimes our sense of balance shifts. Something as simple as arthritis, neuropathy, or medications can make us feel a bit unsteady, so we compensate by keeping our feet closer to the floor, trying to minimize the risk of a misstep. But it's not just about the body. It's also about the mind. There's a quiet fear that creeps in with age, often unspoken even among the most independent of us. Maybe it comes after a close call or a bad fall, or maybe it just sneaks up after years of hearing stories about friends who landed in rehab or lost their mobility after one misstep. That fear makes us hyper-aware, and in trying to be cautious, we inadvertently pick up a risky habit, shuffling instead of striding. There's something almost universal about it. If you sit in a waiting room at any clinic that treats seniors or strolls the halls of a retirement community, you'll notice the telltale sounds. Slippers sliding, shoes scuffing, the gentle brush of feet against the linoleum. Listen closer and you'll hear the stories too. I never saw that little step. The rug just jumped out at me. I thought I had more room. One afternoon, I met a gentleman named Walt. He was a retired mechanic, a big man with a gentle voice, and he liked to spend his mornings tinkering in his garage. Walt had always prided himself on being steady on his feet. He used to joke that he could balance on an engine block if he had to. But after his 70th birthday, he started noticing a change. He was still getting around fine, but he'd catch his toe on the edge of his workbench, or stumble a little coming in from the yard. Nothing serious, he said, but it made me feel old, and I don't like that one bit. Then, one rainy morning, Walt was heading back inside with his arms full of groceries. His left foot snagged the threshold just a little, and down he went. The bags burst open, milk everywhere, apples rolling under the porch swing. He didn't break any bones, but he couldn't shake the feeling of being betrayed by his own body. For days afterward, he found himself thinking twice before each step, eyeing the ground, moving slower, and, yes, shuffling more. For Margaret and Walt, and so many others, the pattern is always the same. The first fall is a shock. After that, it's a slow adjustment. More caution, shorter steps, more time spent worrying about what might happen next. And, cruelly, the very thing you do to try to stay safe, dragging your feet, actually increases your risk of falling again. You might be wondering if this is just the price we pay for getting older, but let me reassure you, it doesn't have to be this way. The human body, even in its later years, is wonderfully adaptable. The habits we pick up, good or bad, are often just responses to our circumstances, and with a little awareness and effort, they can be changed. Think back to when you were a child learning to walk. Every step took focus, every movement was new. Over time, walking became second nature, something you didn't have to think about at all. Now, in this season of life, there's an opportunity to reclaim a bit of that mindfulness. Instead of letting our bodies slip into autopilot, we can make small adjustments that keep us safe and strong. But first, it takes notice. It takes honesty, the kind that comes when you admit to yourself, yes, I do shuffle sometimes. Yes, I'm nervous about falling. That's not a weakness. That's wisdom. And it's the first step toward making a change. For many people, recognizing the habit of dragging their feet is a revelation in itself. Once you notice it, you start to see the moments when you're most vulnerable. Early in the morning, when you're not fully awake. In the evening, when you're tired. when you're carrying something or distracted by a conversation, or even just when you're walking barefoot to the bathroom in the dark. These are the times when a small, unconscious shuffle can lead to a dangerous trip. It's also important to realize that not all surfaces are created equal. Rugs, thick carpets, uneven tiles, and even sidewalk cracks are much more hazardous when your feet are barely clearing the ground. Stairs become trickier. Thresholds, which you never even noticed before, suddenly seem like miniature mountains. And as the weather changes, rainy days, icy mornings, leaves scattered on the driveway, the risk only increases. I once spoke to a physical therapist, Linda, who works almost exclusively with seniors. She told me that she can usually spot a patient who's at risk of falling just by watching how they walk across the waiting room. "It's the shuffle," she said, shaking her head. "They think it's safer, but it just means their toes are always inches away from trouble." Linda explained that the body is designed to walk with the heel striking first, rolling through the ball of the foot, and finally pushing off with the toes. When we shuffle, we skip that whole sequence, and our balance, our connection to the ground, gets weaker over time. Linda shared a simple exercise she uses with her clients. She asks them to imagine they're marching in a parade, just like when they were kids. "Pick up your knees, show me the bottoms of your shoes," she laughs, and the room always brightens. At first, it feels silly, even awkward. But within a week or two, most people start noticing that they feel steadier, more confident, and less afraid of the dreaded stumble. It's also helpful to keep in mind that shoes play a big role. Slippers and worn-out sneakers are a big culprit in the shuffle epidemic. If your shoes are too loose, have slippery soles, or lack support around the heel, you're much more likely to drag your feet. The right footwear can make all the difference, not just in comfort, but in giving you the confidence to walk tall and stride instead of shuffle. But the real shift comes from within. As you begin to pay attention to your walking, you might find yourself feeling a bit frustrated. "Why is this happening now?" you may wonder. Or, "I used to walk for miles. What changed?" It's okay to feel a little sadness or even annoyance. Aging can be humbling, and no one likes to feel vulnerable. But please remember, noticing these changes doesn't make you any less strong. It makes you smarter, and it puts you back in control. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Every time you catch yourself shuffling and make a conscious effort to pick up your feet, you're building new habits, reinforcing healthy movement, and reducing your risk of a fall. You're showing your body that you haven't given up, that you still have plenty of journeys left to make, whether it's to the mailbox, the park, or across the dance floor at your granddaughter's wedding. If you're feeling self-conscious or unsure, talk to your friends and family. Chances are, they've noticed similar changes and have their own stories to share. Sometimes, all it takes is a friendly reminder or a bit of encouragement to get back on the right track. So next time you catch yourself dragging your feet, take a moment to pause. Lift your foot with intention, plant your heel first, roll through the step, and let your toes finish the movement. Feel the difference. Notice how your body responds, and how your confidence grows with each mindful step. And above all, remember, you are not alone. Every person who's ever grown older has walked this path before you. And every step you take towards safety and strength is a step toward the freedom and independence you deserve. You are more resilient than you know. And by understanding and overcoming the most common mistake that makes seniors trip, you're already on your way to safer, happier days ahead. 2. The mindful step trick that changes everything. If you've ever found yourself hesitating before a step, or double-checking that the floor is clear before you move, you're not alone. We spend a lifetime mastering the act of walking, those first few wobbly steps as children, the sprints of youth, the confident strides of adulthood. But almost no one tells us that, as the years pass, something as simple as walking can quietly become a daily worry. You might even wonder, after a certain age, whether you've become too careful. Or perhaps you joke with friends about shuffling or taking the senior stroll, trying to laugh off the quiet fear of falling. But what if there were a small, gentle change you could make that would help you walk with confidence and ease again, no matter your age? What if science itself had uncovered a trick, a mindful step, that could all but erase that fear and help you regain the simple joy of moving through life? For most of us, walking has always been a background act, something we do while thinking about a million other things. Our minds wander to grocery lists, to-do lists, childhood memories, and tomorrow's weather. It's just walking, until, one day, it isn't. That's why what you're about to discover might surprise you. The greatest gift you can give yourself right now is not just to move, but to walk with awareness. The idea of mindful walking may sound a little strange at first. Mindfulness, after all, gets talked about mostly in yoga classes or meditation groups. But here's the beautiful truth. Your body and your brain are connected in ways you might not expect. By paying attention on purpose to how you walk, you're actually rewiring your balance, retraining your muscles, and rebuilding confidence, one step at a time. It's the difference between shuffling through life, always just a little uncertain, and moving with the grace and steadiness you remember from years gone by. Let's step into a real-life story, a man named Mr. Go. At 81, Mr. Go had spent years living in the same house, walking the same driveway every morning to pick up the newspaper. He was active, social, and proud of his independence. But after a fall one rainy afternoon, he caught his foot on a small crack in the cement. He found himself hesitant at every threshold. For weeks, he walked as if the ground might slip away at any moment. "I felt like a tightrope walker," he joked, "except I didn't want to be." It was at his local senior center that a physical therapist taught him something that would change his life: the mindful step. She didn't ask him to walk faster, or farther, or to work out in a gym. Instead, she showed him 3 simple actions. First, lift your foot with intention, as if you're showing off the sole of your shoe to someone behind you. Not a high kick, just a deliberate, thoughtful lift. This alone was new to Mr. Go, who'd grown so used to barely skimming his toes along the ground. Second, land with your heel first, then the middle of your foot, and finally your toes. It sounds simple, but most of us, especially as we age, lose this natural rolling motion. We become flat-footed, or worse, start planting our feet wherever they land. But this sequence, heel, midfoot, toe, activates the body's natural sensors for balance. It's the way we're designed to walk. Third, and perhaps most importantly, keep your eyes 3 steps ahead. Not on your shoes, not on the ground immediately in front of you, but just a little way forward. This small shift straightens your posture and helps you anticipate obstacles. It lets your body move as one coordinated unit, rather than constantly reacting to whatever's underfoot. For Mr. Go, these 3 steps felt awkward at first. He had to think about every movement and retrain old habits that were decades in the making. But within 2 weeks, something remarkable happened. His legs felt stronger, his steps more certain. The act of walking became less about fear and more about freedom. He even found himself taking longer routes through the neighborhood, just to enjoy the feeling of having the ground in his hands, as he described it. If you're reading this and feeling skeptical, you're not alone. Many people laugh when they first hear about mindful walking, or they dismiss it as too simple to be effective. But the science is clear. In a study from Kyoto University in Japan, over 600 older adults were followed for an entire year. Half of them were taught the mindful step technique. The results? Those who practiced mindful stepping had 58% fewer falls compared to those who didn't. That's not a small difference. It's the kind of number that could mean the difference between years of independence and months of recovery. The magic of the mindful step isn't just in preventing falls, though. It's about waking up parts of your body and your brain that may have quietly gone to sleep over time. By lifting your feet deliberately, you signal to your nervous system, "Pay attention, we're moving." By rolling through your heel, you activate the muscles and ligaments that keep you upright. By looking ahead, you train your mind to anticipate, not just react. You may even find, as many people do, that mindful walking changes how you feel in other areas of life. When you slow down and pay attention to your body, you might notice that your breathing deepens. You become more aware of your surroundings, the song of a bird, the scent of freshly cut grass, the laughter of children on the sidewalk. Walking becomes not just a way to get from point A to point B, but a kind of moving meditation, a quiet daily celebration of what your body can still do. Of course, no habit is built overnight. The first days might feel awkward. You may catch yourself lapsing into old patterns, shuffling when you meant to stride. That's perfectly normal. What matters is that you keep coming back to the practice, just as you would with any new skill. There's no finish line, no right way, except the way that helps you feel safe and steady. Some people find it helpful to set little reminders for themselves, a note by the door, a sticker on their shoes, even a friendly nudge from a spouse or friend. Lift your foot, look ahead. Others practice mindful walking at set times of day, perhaps during a morning stroll or as part of a daily exercise routine. The key is consistency and the willingness to give yourself grace as you learn. You might be surprised at how quickly things start to shift. I've heard from people who, after just a week of mindful stepping, feel their fear of falling start to fade. They rediscover the pleasure of walking outside, of running simple errands, of greeting neighbors on the street. Some even notice their balance improving in other activities: gardening, stretching, dancing, and playing with grandchildren. There's a ripple effect, too, in how this one mindful change can spark a sense of possibility elsewhere. When you reclaim your stride, you reclaim your independence. When you move through the world with confidence, you show your family, your friends, and even yourself that you're still very much in charge of your own life. If you've ever doubted that something so simple could make such a big difference, I invite you to try it for yourself. Start small. Next time you get up from a chair, pause for a moment. Feel your feet on the floor. Lift one foot, just a little higher than you might normally. Set your heel down, roll through your foot, and notice the ground beneath you. Look ahead, not down. Take a breath, and then step again. Notice how your body responds. Maybe your back straightens, maybe your head lifts. You feel a tiny spark of pride. That's the mindful step working its magic. With every deliberate movement, you're not just walking, you're sending a message to every cell in your body. We are still here. We are still moving forward. If you're feeling nervous, remember that it's okay to hold on to a sturdy surface when you first start, or to practice in a safe, familiar place. Enlist a friend or family member to walk with you. Share the technique, and you might even inspire someone else to take control of their stride. There are always challenges, of course. Some days, your joints will ache. Some days, the weather will keep you inside. On those days, the mindful step can be practiced in small ways, even just pacing from the living room to the kitchen, or circling the hallway with intention and care. What matters is not how far you go, but how present you are with each step. Remember, every journey, no matter how long or short, is made up of single, simple steps. And each one is a chance to practice, to improve, to celebrate the incredible resilience of your body. The mindful step trick is more than just a safety measure. It's a pathway back to confidence and joy. It's a gift you give yourself every day, for as long as you keep moving. Don't let old habits or quiet fears steal your freedom. You are capable, you are wise, and you deserve to walk through life with steadiness and grace. So the next time you hear the shuffle of your own feet, remember Mr. Go, and so many others, who found strength not by moving faster, but by moving with intention. Remember that it's never too late to change a habit, to try something new, to give yourself the best chance at a happy, healthy, independent life. And if you feel inspired, share this mindful step with someone you love. The greatest journeys are always better when walked together, and sometimes, a single step is all it takes to change everything. 3. Strengthen your ankles and avoid the domino effect of falls. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. If you pause to think about the way you move through a room, rising from your favorite recliner, taking those first few steps after a long sit, or balancing as you reach for something on a high shelf, you'll notice something most of us don't realize until it becomes a problem. Almost every step, turn, or stretch depends on the strength and steadiness of your ankles. Our ankles, those unassuming hinges just above the feet, have silently supported us through a lifetime of motion. We rarely thank them. But for decades, they've handled every hill, every uneven sidewalk, every quick pivot to catch a grandchild or dance in the kitchen. And yet, with age, it's so easy to take them for granted, until one day, they remind us, not so quietly, that they're struggling to keep up. That was the case for my old neighbor, Helen, a woman of boundless energy and endless stories. Helen was famous for her homemade cherry pies, for the way she could coax flowers out of stubborn ground, and for her stubborn refusal to slow down. She'd always been spry and quick on her feet. But when she hit her late 70s, Helen found herself wobbling a little more than usual. She noticed her ankles felt weaker, especially in the morning. One day, while gardening, she stepped off the patio and her ankle simply buckled. She didn't fall, at least not that time, but the scare stuck with her. For many of us, the ankle's slow decline is a sneaky culprit behind the domino effect of falls. Maybe it starts with a little swelling, or you notice you can't stand on one foot as long as you used to. Then comes a near miss, a trip on the doorstep, a close call on the stairs. Confidence slips away, replaced by a quiet fear that your body isn't quite as reliable as it once was. And if left unchecked, one small stumble can set off a chain of problems. A twisted joint leads to less walking, which leads to weaker muscles, which leads to more stumbles, and so on in a discouraging loop. But here's the good news, and I mean real, practical, heartening news. You can break this domino effect, and it starts with the simple act of strengthening your ankles and lower legs. This is not a matter of running marathons or hitting the gym for hours. The most effective exercises for ankles are gentle, easy, and can be done right at home, sometimes even while you're sitting and watching your favorite show. Before we get to the how, it's worth understanding why the ankles matter so much. As we age, several things happen. The muscles that support our ankles naturally lose some strength, especially if we aren't as active as we used to be. The tendons and ligaments can stiffen, reducing flexibility and making the joint less responsive to sudden changes in movement or uneven ground. Blood flow may decrease, slowing healing after minor injuries or making us more prone to swelling. All of these changes mean that our base, the foundation that keeps us upright, can become unstable. When your ankles aren't strong, your balance suffers. And when balance suffers, the risk of falling goes up, not by a little, but by a lot. Studies have shown that seniors with weak ankles are 3 times more likely to fall than those with strong, stable ankles, even if their balance seems otherwise okay. Think of your ankles like the roots of a great tree. When the roots are strong and deep, the tree can weather storms, winds, and even the occasional bump from a curious squirrel. But if the roots are weak, the whole tree is vulnerable, even in a mild breeze. Now, if you're anything like me, the idea of starting new exercises might sound daunting. Maybe you've tried things in the past that felt too hard or even left you sore. But let me assure you, the right exercises for ankle strength are gentle, safe, and can be adjusted to fit your ability. Take calf raises, for example. This one is as simple as it sounds. Stand behind a sturdy chair, using the back for balance. Place your feet hip-width apart. Slowly rise onto your tiptoes, hold for a second, then lower back down. At first, you might only manage a few before your legs get tired. That's perfectly fine. With practice, most people can work up to 10 or 15 repetitions, once or twice a day. This small movement wakes up all the little muscles in your calves and ankles and even strengthens your feet. Then there's the towel scrunch. For this, all you need is a chair, a towel, and your toes. Sit with your feet flat on the floor and a small towel laid out in front of you. Using only your toes, try to scrunch the towel toward you. You'll feel the muscles in your feet and ankles working. This not only builds strength, but also improves the connection between your brain and the muscles that keep you steady. After a week or two, you may be surprised at how much stronger your feet feel, and how much less you worry about tripping. Helen, my neighbor, started doing both of these exercises after her scare in the garden. At first, she felt a little silly. It reminded me of being in kindergarten. She laughed. But she stuck with it, using the back of a kitchen chair for her calf raises and a hand towel for the scrunches. Within a few weeks, she was moving with more confidence. One day, she called me to say she'd chased her runaway cat around the yard, and hadn't wobbled once. If you've ever wondered whether such small movements could make a difference, the science is clear. Researchers at universities and clinics across the country have found that simple ankle and foot strengthening routines can improve balance, reduce the risk of falls, and even help ease aches and pains in the knees and hips. When you take care of your base, the benefits travel up your whole body. Sometimes, just hearing the science isn't enough, though. What motivates most of us is not the numbers, but the stories. The friend who bounced back from a close call, the neighbor who seems to float across the grass without worry, the small victories that remind us what's possible. Madam Chong, a dear friend from my church group, used to be terrified of falling. After 2 scary tumbles, she barely left her house. Her therapist introduced her to these same ankle-strengthening moves. At first, she doubted they'd help. But with gentle encouragement, she tried them, little by little, every day. The result? She not only regained the strength in her feet, but also the trust in her steps. Now, she told us one Sunday, I feel the ground beneath me, like it's an old friend. And that's the magic, isn't it? These exercises aren't just about muscle. They're about rebuilding the relationship between your body and your mind, reminding you, day by day, that you are still capable, still strong, and still free to move through the world with confidence. Here are a few more gentle ways to support your ankles and lower legs. Toe taps. While seated, tap your toes up and down as quickly as you comfortably can for 30 seconds. This wakes up the muscles in the front of your shins and improves your reaction time when you walk. Ankle circles. Sitting or standing, lift one foot and gently roll your ankle in circles, 10 times in each direction. This helps keep your joints flexible and your balance sharper. Balance practice. Stand behind a sturdy chair and try to balance on one foot for a few seconds, then switch. This might feel wobbly at first, but your muscles and nerves adapt quickly with regular practice. And, perhaps most importantly, be patient with yourself. Progress may feel slow at first, but every repetition, every effort, is a message to your body that you are investing in your independence. You are taking steps, literally and figuratively, to avoid the domino effect that trips up so many. Don't forget the role of good shoes, either. Supportive, well-fitting footwear acts like armor for your ankles. Avoid loose slippers, worn-out sneakers, or shoes with slippery soles. Instead, look for sturdy soles, good heel support, and non-skid bottoms. Your feet and your ankles will thank you. If you're worried about safety while doing these exercises, ask a family member or friend to be nearby, or try them sitting at first. Most people find that, with a little practice, their confidence grows right alongside their strength. The thing about ankles is that they're always there, quietly working, until the day they need a little extra help. By choosing to strengthen them, you're not just guarding against falls. You're opening the door to more freedom, more activity, and more joyful moments with the people and places you love. So, as you move through your day, whether it's gardening like Helen, chasing after a mischievous pet, or just standing to make a cup of coffee, take a moment to thank your ankles. Give them a little extra care, and notice how your whole body responds. Each small act of attention is a stone set in the foundation of a safer, steadier life. Remember, it's never too late to start. Every day offers a new chance to build strength, restore confidence, and keep those dominoes from tumbling. With a little persistence and a lot of self-kindness, you can step into the world feeling sturdy, secure, and proud of every step you take. 4. Walking with awareness improves balance and memory too. When we think about walking, most of us picture a simple physical act, moving from one place to another, putting one foot in front of the other. But walking, especially as we grow older, is so much more than just a way to get around. It's a connection between our body and brain, a dance of balance and awareness that influences not only how steady we are on our feet, but also how sharp and vibrant our minds remain. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Take a moment and remember the last time you truly noticed your walk. Maybe you were strolling through a park, listening to the crunch of leaves underfoot, feeling the breeze on your face. Or perhaps you were inside, moving through your home, aware of the weight shifting from one leg to another. That simple act of paying attention, of walking with awareness, has profound effects on your health and well-being. It's a truth that many people overlook, but science confirms that walking mindfully activates deep parts of the brain connected to attention, planning, and short-term memory. A study by Harvard Medical School found that when older adults walk with focused awareness, their brains light up in areas responsible for motor control and cognitive function. This active presence pulls us out of autopilot, helping us to engage more fully with each moment. The benefits don't stop there. Research from the University of British Columbia showed that older adults who practiced mindful walking had greater gray matter density in the hippocampus, the brain's memory center. This means that by simply paying attention while walking, we might protect ourselves against cognitive decline and diseases like Alzheimer's. I remember talking to my friend Aisha, a lively 76-year-old woman with a quick smile and a love for gardening. For years, Aisha enjoyed her morning walks, but they were often automatic, her mind wandering to the day's tasks or stories from her childhood. After learning about mindful walking, she started to change her routine. She focused on the feeling of her feet touching the ground, her posture, and her breathing. At first, it felt strange, like learning to walk again. But over time, she noticed remarkable changes. Her mind became sharper, she stopped forgetting appointments and even felt more rested. Walking became not just exercise, but a meditation that nourished both body and soul. Balance, too, improves when we walk with awareness. When you pay attention to your posture, foot placement, and rhythm, your body engages the vestibular system, the inner ear balance mechanism, and strengthens connections between nerves and muscles. This means fewer wobbles, less fear of falling, and more confidence in your movement. This isn't just theory. It's a practical tool for daily life. Imagine the difference between rushing through the grocery store parking lot distracted by your shopping list and strolling through a quiet neighborhood path, feeling every step grounded and steady. The latter not only calms your nerves but trains your brain and body to work together in harmony. You might wonder how to start walking with this kind of mindful awareness. It's simpler than you think. Here are a few tips that can help you tune into your body as you move. Focus on your feet. Feel how your heel touches down first, then the ball of your foot, or toes push off. This deliberate attention helps strengthen balance and muscle control. Keep your eyes forward. Instead of looking down at your feet, gaze gently a few steps ahead. This improves posture and prepares you for obstacles. Breathe deeply. Coordinating your breath with your steps can help keep you relaxed and centered. Notice your surroundings. Engage all your senses. Listen to birds, feel the breeze, notice colors and shapes around you. This sensory involvement enriches the experience and sharpens focus. It's important to be patient as you develop this new habit. Walking mindfully feels unusual at first because it requires your full attention. You might find your mind wandering or feel self-conscious. That's normal. The key is to gently bring your focus back to your steps, over and over. Many seniors have shared how walking with awareness not only helped them move better, but also brought joy back into their lives. The simple act of being present during a walk can transform a routine task into a moment of peace and empowerment. And the ripple effects extend beyond balance and memory. Walking with awareness has been shown to reduce stress, lower blood pressure, and improve mood. When you connect deeply with your body and breathe, it triggers the relaxation response, soothing anxiety and boosting resilience. One of the most beautiful parts of mindful walking is that it's accessible to nearly everyone. Whether you're taking a leisurely stroll in your backyard, pacing slowly indoors, or using a walker for support, you can adapt the practice to your needs. I encourage you to try it today. Next time you step outside or move through your home, slow down a little and tune into the rhythm of your body. Feel your connection to the ground and the air around you. With each mindful step, you're strengthening your body, sharpening your mind, and nurturing your spirit. Remember, walking with awareness is more than just a safety strategy. It's a gift you give yourself every time you move. It's a way to honor your body's wisdom and your mind's capacity to grow. And in doing so, you create a foundation for living with greater freedom, confidence, and joy. So take that first mindful step, and know you're not just walking. You're walking toward a healthier, brighter tomorrow. As we come to the end of this journey together, I want you to take a moment to feel proud of yourself. Just by being here, by seeking ways to walk safer and stronger, you're already taking important steps toward a more confident and independent life. Remember, the right shoes, the strength in your ankles, and the mindful steps you take every day aren't just small habits. They're powerful tools that protect your freedom and dignity. It's easy to believe that getting older means slowing down, losing balance, or living in fear of a fall. But the truth is, with the right awareness and care, your body can surprise you. It can regain strength, resilience, and grace. Every step you take mindfully is a message to yourself and to the world. You are still here, still moving forward, and still capable of enjoying life on your own terms. So, as you move forward from today, keep these simple truths close. Lift your feet with purpose, walk with your eyes ahead, strengthen your ankles with gentle exercises, and choose shoes that support every step. You deserve to walk freely, without fear, and with joy in your heart. Thank you for sharing this time with me. If this video has helped you even a little, please share your thoughts below. I'd love to hear your story. And if you know someone who could benefit from these tips, don't hesitate to share this message with them. Together, we can build a community of strength, safety, and support. Remember, every mindful step you take is a step toward freedom. Keep walking with confidence. You deserve nothing less.